No Sight C! No Sight C!
It was a record turnout in perfect conditions for the 7th annual Paddle for the Peace. Hundreds of boats and close to 1,000 people in total, made up of residents of the Peace River region in northeast BC, and a number of visitors from around the province, joined in the event to show their opposition to the proposed Sight C Dam, which would flood the area the boaters traveled, between the communities of Hudson's Hope and Fort St. John. It was a colorful cross-cultural event, co-hosted by Treaty 8 First Nations and the Peace Valley Environment Association.
What you see here today is remarkable. It's not only First Nations coming together, but it's local communities, it's environmentalists, and it's people that are concerned about their future.
We heard earlier that there were deep concerns that our voices are not being heard in Ottawa or Victoria. Based on the last 2 years, the Stop the Sight C Dam movement has grown and grown and grown.
Let's paddle for the peace!
Hundreds of boats spread out over a 10-mile stretch of the fertile river valley, winding up at Bear Flat, on a farm that would be completely flooded by the proposed dam.
People don't know what's happening here. You know, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. It's northeastern BC. You know, they just think it's a bunch of sticks and stones up here, and you can see it's not. You know, there's people out here today.
This kind of a turnout is a tipping point which will allow our concern about this river to go noticed, and it's going to keep this river intact if we persist with the people power that we have.
There, the crowd gathered to hear from a number of speakers, including special guest David Suzuki.
Paddling down the river today, I said to my wife, it doesn't get any better than this. And I can't wait until our grandchildren are grown a little older and we can come and bring them to paddle this same area, and they can bring their grandchildren to paddle the area. The dam at Sight C has been being driven by the argument we need the energy to power our society, specifically for the liquefied natural gas plant that's going in at Kitimat. We need this to create jobs. This is absolutely crucial. But in elevating the economy above everything else, we fail to ask the most elementary questions. What is an economy for? How much is enough? Are there no limits? Are we happier with all this stuff? We're not asking the critical questions. And by fighting against this dam at Sight C, I think that it's important now to raise these deeper issues that we didn't raise 30 years ago when we fought against that same dam.
The paddle's participants and organizers were clearly moved by the successful event.
It was an awesome day. The weather was beautiful. We had people coming, and they didn't stop coming. It was just really encouraging to see how many people showed up for this event. This is our 7th annual, and every year it just keeps growing.
This year's paddle comes at a critical time. The environmental assessment process is well underway for the proposed 1,100 megawatt dam, which would flood over 11,000 acres of prime farmland and wilderness for diverse fish and wildlife. But today's event seemed to reinvigorate the campaign against Sight C, as this 40-year resident and farmer in the valley made clear.
The government thinks that they can ram this down our throats any way they see fit, and it's not going to happen. I guess if it comes to standing in front of a bulldozer, I'll be first in line.
With the governing Liberal Party pushing the dam forward, and its likely successor, the NDP, refusing to take a strong position against it, these defenders of the Peace Valley are undoubtedly paddling upstream. But they're all in the same boat, and on a day like this one, that makes anything seem possible.